gentlemen, and welcome to the first production of this new concept production, Behind the Play. The aim of this is to bring us a little more back to the UK in obviously this pandemic that we're currently experiencing. The whole of British football has been wiped out for the guys out there who are desperate to get back some for your lives. We're hoping that highlights package will serve a little bit of a purpose. I have to say this afternoon I'm joined by my co-host Tash Crump, and I'm longly advised that Tash is with us down in the south of England as we speak.
Hello, Matt. I am down in the south of London. Sorry, not the south of London. Sorry, the south coast. I just moved from London.
How are things, Tash? How are things with you?
Oh yeah, they're good. The pandemic obviously was definitely not expected. As I've just said, I had to actually move back home due to it, work from home situation. So yeah, it's been a bit crazy. How are you, Matt?
We're good. I mean, it's as crazy as it's all been. We've been blessed with the weather of late, so obviously we've got that to be thankful for. But what we haven't got to be thankful for is obviously the lack of football, Tash, and obviously for people like you and I, and the who are going to be to have on the show this afternoon. It's life and summer months. It's a big gap to fill while we wait for the NFL season to come back around.
Massive gap. I think for a lot of players around the UK, you kind of have the end of the NFL season, and then you know that you have a season upcoming. You know that you have the British season to look forward to over summer. So not having that in our lives and having zero sport at all, I think that's been a massive struggle for everybody.
And I think, like you say, it's not just football, is it? It's the fact that there's no sport, and a lot of people have been confined to their own living spaces. And if you're fortunate enough to have a garden, it's maybe not so bad. Or in a high-rise or some sort of apartment, and you can't get out. It's been a real struggle. And I know you and I, when we were sort of prepping the show earlier in the week, we talked about lifting the lid and the work that the Tamworth Phoenix guys did on that, and the, if you like, the importance of recognising mental well-being at this time.
Yeah, massively. I think that one of the key things with this period of time at the moment, and especially for American footballers, is obviously we don't have the season. We don't have a chance and opportunity to train together at the moment. And I think a lot of people who aren't training and who aren't doing any form of working out at the moment are almost feeling some sort of gym or workout guilt the moment that they see so many people online posting their workouts and becoming more active and trying to stay in shape. And I think that at the moment, one thing that American footballers all around the UK should take from this is, if you physically don't have the strength at the moment to want to actually work out, and you're almost being told that you should be working out and you should be staying in shape ready for your season, I don't think that there's any guilt at all in not being able to at the moment, because it is such a difficult time. So if there's something I know for a fact personally, I should be working out right now and I should be doing a lot of rehab on my shoulder. But I've even struggled with that, because it's that motivation, and it's that sometimes that lack of motivation to actually want to. So I think if there's one thing that everyone can take away from this, it's do you at the moment. If you want to work out. If you can't, you can't. But keep yourself immersed in football as much as you possibly can.
Now, means we or a substitute and that we've got all the answers, but what we do plan to try and do over the coming weeks and maybe months until we all get back to some form of normality is to dip into the archives of British football and show some highlights, some fantastic games, both from the end game, the women's game, and also the game as well. We're eager to try and cover as many bases as we can. And the unique about this show, hopefully from others, is that we will get our players and coaches on to not only talk us through the plays, but just get their ideas about what they were thinking. How did that particular play go? How did they control emotions from themselves and them players? And I'm fortunate enough to be able to suggest to people that we have three fantastic coaches from today's game. So, Tash, without further ado, we will date him. But before we do that, it's not just about Tash and I want you guys to get involved as much as you can. Hit us up on the social media if you're on Facebook or our YouTube channel and you want to get involved. Later on, Tash is going to be posing some more questions to the coaches this afternoon. So leave a question in the comments on Facebook or YouTube, but just make sure you put it in front of that so that our guys who are know rather than just a comment. And if you're want to ask a question on Twitter, use that behind play. And once again, we will try to get you and get your questions to the guy you have on today. So, without further ado, let's get to the first game that we have for you today. And it's an absolute cracker. It's the 30 final, the 2017 final, which took place at Six Ways Stadium down in Worcester, between the Tamworth Phoenix and the London Blitz. And it was an absolutely incredible game. And I'm pleased to be able to bring to you the head coach of that game, Martin Hilton, the offensive coordinator, Smith, and the defensive coordinator, Jason. Guys, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, Matt.
Good afternoon. Hi, Matt.
In this office space I've turned into a studio here, but it's fantastic to be able to have you guys on board. The premise, chat with these guys, the premise is that we're going to show these guys, I really want to try in your heads about what you were saying and about the plays that were called and very much the thinking on the day. It's one watching the game stand as it's being streamed, being their heads to the code and the game plan, and the adjustments that had to be made. I think going to be a fantastic insight for all these guys watching. So if we can, then we'll come back to you guys once we've watched. But just first of all, want a quick Martin, as the head coach, we see, I suppose, if you're being realistic, you London Warriors in the semi-final. I think made be a bit of a surprise for people. Talk us through the emotions of the whole Phoenix family, the Page family, in terms of making that first national final.
It was huge. When we beat the Warriors in the semi-final, there was such a huge local support. The sideline was buzzing at the time. It had come off the back of the previous year playing the Blitz in the semi-final, not really feeling like we had lived up to what we should have done. A number of factors, but they outplayed us on the day. But we felt like we could have done more. And so when we faced the Warriors, it was huge. So to get to the national final it felt like we were on the right track and we'd done what we were going to do. We always felt like we were a team that could do it. There was this underdog mentality. There was a lot of people not really giving us much of a chance when we got to the game. And so it felt like we needed to prove ourselves a little bit. But also the fact that from the word go, we believed in ourselves. We were always talking about ourselves in positive, strong words, always setting goals for ourselves. And no doubt, Brickball was on our minds from the word go that season.
Then, Martin, we will obviously get your thoughts afterwards, and we'll really dissect some of the plays and the key moments of the game. But without further ado, we'll dip in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Brit Bowl 31 from August 2007.
So here we go at the start of Brit Bowl 31. The London Blitz will be kicking off, obviously playing left to right in this first quarter as we look in their white and blue traditional uniforms. The Tamworth Phoenix will be returning in their traditional orange and black. And the game is underway. Brit Bowl 31 underway. That's a good return from that Tamworth deep threat. So Pat Daly at quarterback for the Phoenix. That familiar spread formation we're accustomed to seeing as there's big pressure coming in. Daly takes off up the left sideline. He's got a first down and he's at past midfield and he's pushed out of bounds at the 48.
Well, were we expecting that? That was, I don't think the Blitz were expecting that. Pat Daly takes off and makes a huge amount of yardage.
Pat Daly again, 2nd and 13. Looks to pass, steps up into the pocket, he eludes his first man, he eludes the 2nd and 3rd, and gains around about 7 yards to bring up 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, it's a nice little run. He did have his running back open on a check route there, but he did what he needed to do, and he's got 3rd and short.
So 3rd and 5 on the Blitz opening, the Tamworth opening possession. And he takes the ball up inside and he could be across the goal line. Let's see the signal, it's scored! Tamworth get the opening score of the afternoon.
I don't think we were expecting quite that start. You can hear the Tamworth supporters from where we are, and it's only a small contingency to say this stadium holds tens of thousands. But for them to come down on the opening drive and get a score like that, I think that's really going to be shoving it down the throat of the Blitz, as it were, and I think the Blitz will be nervy.
So Lenkowski, ball is up, and the kick is good. Lenkowski kicks off high and deep, and it's heading the way of Husbands, who feels it is 10. In fact, it's Afolabi, and he's still on his feet up to the 25, up to the 30, and finally brought down at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, he found a nice little seam there to work his way up the field.
Just straight line speed, getting him that good 30-yard return. This time, Remy gets the ball again, and he's stuffed for a minimal pickup, if anything.
Yeah. A bit odd. Blitz choosing to run it on that third down. Clearly they didn't like what they saw in front of them.
Two receivers to the right, one to the left. Split backs alongside Daly as he drops back into his own end zone. Swings the ball out to Hope on the right-hand side. Oh, and Hope's scythe down. Number 24, Enoch Hankombo.
There is a flag on the play.
Brilliant open field tackle. Wait to see what this flag is by our officials. Worthwhile at this point saying, Brick Bowl 31 coverage.
There is no foul on the play. The block in question was legal.
Lenkowski rolls to his right, puts the ball in the air. And it looks like Afolabi is going to let that one roll out of bounds, and that's probably as good as the Phoenix could hope for, but there is another flag on the field. Ball's handed off, run right side. That's Tunga again with the carry. Seems to be the feature back for the Blitz.
Yeah, it seems to be a stretch play there that they're running out of gun.
The way it's lined up, Tooney looks up to pick the pass rush up. Daly puts the ball across the middle and hits his man, number 10, Jack Daly.
Yeah, what a fantastic grab. Daly's name, he's been around Brick Bowl for a little while. He's come up once or twice in various parts of the world. Fires the bomb, looks like a post route there.
Motion again from the Blitz. Tunga picks the ball up, comes off right tackle, and it goes untouched into the end zone for the Blitz's opening score of the afternoon. And to be fair, just as much noise made from the crowd as when the Tamworth opening score went on the board.
Yeah, really nice run there. Looks like it's a bit of a power running game.
Last year's Brick Bowl, the Blitz were on the losing end to the London Warriors, 36-15. As the kick is up, and that's Jack Daly, the man who scored that, or got them into position to score that touchdown, who kicks the extra point to give us a score of the London Blitz 7, the Tamworth Phoenix 7.
What a start. Some really nice football from both teams.
Away we go. And it is Ali who fields the ball. He cuts a line, finds a seam, takes it all the way to the 34 before he's brought down. Again, similar to their under-19 counterparts, they don't bring a lot of people back deep. Try and disguise that rush.
As you say, they've dropped into a cover 3.
And he pulls the ball, Daly does. He's still running, eyes downfield. Now he's got his...
Oh!
Number 54 delivers the hammer. Eddie Cheadle for London. Thompson, this time, fakes to Tunga, rolls to his left, gets his man, but his man is met immediately.
Yeah, kept him short.
Lindley with the reception.
It's a great defense there to get to that play.
So after that incompletion, it brings up another third down for the Phoenix. 3rd and 8 inside their own half. Daly drops back again, swings the ball out to Walters. Walters has got running room, but then steps one man, still on his feet, and he remains on his feet, and that little frame is enough to get a first down for the Phoenix. More smash mouth football this really than the junior game we witnessed earlier, but nevertheless intriguing. Again, Daly steps up into the pocket. He may have enough, and he steps, and he has got a first down, and he takes a hit, but stays on his feet and spins away.
He's still
spins
going.
away
He's
again.
Go
He's still on his feet. He's at the 5, and he's
down. Wow. Spin moves galore.
Talk us through that one.
What can you say? You know, the pressure comes, they're well covered downfield, and bang, you know, misses one. And how he managed to stay on his feet there, but you see the defence and they stop, and you can't do that as a defence. You have to be there, you have to make sure he's down before you stop, and that moment of hesitation gives him enough to break that next tackle and go all the way. And the extra point is deemed good. So that will put Tamworth Phoenix at 14 with the London Blitz trailing behind at 7.
Slot receiver and tight end on the right. Oh, he's in trouble. He escapes one, but then he's met by number 94. That's Will Stone.
Will Stone is, or was, president of the Birmingham Lions. Defensive lineman at the Lions University.
Thompson with 3 receivers to the right. His running back swings out to the left. He manages to catch that, but he's met immediately. And look at that again. Four Phoenix players converge on Temi Odeyemi.
Yeah, great team defense there again. You know, catches the ball, makes a couple of yards, and bang, bang, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys pushing him out, and you know, within half a second there were 4 guys around him. Yeah, you mentioned the Merseyside Nighthawks, and they've come up not too long ago from Division 1. It wasn't too long ago that they played the Caesars, I don't think. And they've really stepped up. They've not been beaten up. They've come in, and I think this is their 2nd season in the Prem, and they've you know, they've made the playoffs.
Sorry, miscommunication, and Odeyemi manages to pick the ball up, but then he's met by six Phoenix players, and he's knocked back on 3rd down for a loss of 9. So again, miscommunication, indiscipline maybe. Burslem and Patches Boswell back deep to return again. Ball is up.
Really nice spiral on that.
It is a beautiful kick, and it's fumbled by Burslem, and he manages to get it at a 2nd attempt, and just manages to fall on it before number 44 for the Blitz takes him down again. Apologies.
It was a beautiful spiraling punt, and you know, coverage was right there on him. 6
minutes left in the half. Brick Bowl 31. Worcester, Sixway Stadium on a sun-drenched bank holiday Saturday afternoon. Daly, great escape from the pocket again. He lofts the ball to a man, and he's got his man. It's number 89, Will Hussey. Daly looking and sees the gap straight away, and he follows Rusher.
Well, Walters just clips his man there.
I think maybe Walters just got enough to allow.
Well, actually, he's
after Daly manages just to pick up that 1st down on the little sneak, puts the ball across the middle, a high pass, but snagged in by James Hossack.
Yeah, it's his 2nd reception he's had today. Really well looked in by the receiver on the high ball, particularly as he's stretched out, knowing that DB's right there on his back.
So 2nd and 2, nice manageable 2 for the offense. And Walters picks up the 1st down and more, and he's still on his feet. Down inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. 3rd down, Daly with 3 receivers to his right, and he looks to his right and then takes off up the middle with a designed QB run, and it's scythed down. A great open field tackle. That's number 25, Ademiju. And that will be 4th down, and Lewankowski comes on.
See if they can stretch it to a 10-point lead.
Kick is up, and it is good. So Tamworth extend their lead to 10, as you mentioned. Nice catch by Kyle Jervier, and Jervier scoots into the end zone to bring the Blitz back within 4.
Yeah, fantastic little pass, and over the middle. It's been left almost uncovered. Looks like one of the Phoenix secondary had a little trip.
Thompson again though showing great pocket presence, stepping up, keeping his eyes downfield.
I think Pat's probably got the more athletic ability of the pair of them, but both of them experienced quarterbacks and doing really well in the pocket. And I think the Blitz will be more than happy with scoring a touchdown with 19 seconds left to go in the half.
Extra point is up, and he drops back to pass.
It looks like a screen.
And he's just thrown that away wisely. And that will end the first half of play. And largely entertaining. It's gone pretty quick, to be fair.
It has.
Hour and 15 minutes from the kickoff.
Yeah, it's been a really good game. It's had everything so far. It's been kept close.
Welcome back to Worcester. The sun continues to shine here on Six Ways Stadium as Brit Bowl 31 gets underway for the second half. And number 23 for the Blitz, Dwight Colker, drops on the ball, manages to pick it up, and he eludes a couple of tacklers and gets out to the 35-yard line, where the Blitz will start their first possession of the second half. Currently we have a 17-14 scoreline in favour of the Tamworth Phoenix. And Beleg Tunga makes another nice start.
Yeah, that was his longest run of the game so far and just carved up the defence. So whether Phoenix are ready to come out this second half or not, I'm not sure, but they need to wake up pretty quick.
So our officiating crew, as Tunga gets the carry on first down again, picks up another 8 to 9 yards, and it's a fast start from the Blitz offense.
See what they can do.
Joe looks to pass, and he takes off, and he's got enough room and gets out of bounds when he gets the first down. Joe Thompson, quarterback for the Blitz, leading the impressive first drive. Audible into. Big third down coming up here for both teams yet again.
I just had a message from Rob Hardwick, one of the Caesars players, about, and they've just had a discussion at halftime about Tamworth not having many GB guys, and he's, quite rightly so. A little bit capped by the teams that perhaps play around them. They're not quite the Warriors, they're not quite the Knights of old. They've not had such a great season this year. Think that's true?
There's an element to that, but then again, you could argue the display that the Phoenix are putting on at the moment obviously shows that they are competitive against such teams as the Blitz. Whether they and what they did to the Warriors a fortnight ago, whether or not they could do that consistently week in, week out against such strong opposition. But yeah, it's a fair point to consider that Rob's brought up. Don't know overly how valid it is, but definitely one to debate.
Single tier system as he's
possibly, but then obviously, as you know, doing what you do, you then get cost implications and of travel. And as Thompson goes straight up the middle, picks up enough for the first down. Thompson looks to his right, hits Lindley, and Lindley scoots around the corner and is in for the score. Aaron Lindley, and there is that swing. Looking to add the extras. Kick is up. And good. And that's Jack Daly converting the extra point to give the Blitz a 21-17 third quarter lead. Kickoff by Husbands, fielded at the 5-yard line by the Phoenix runner, who goes up to the 25, and then he's met in a hurry by Dwight Colker, who called his name a few times. That was number 89 on the return, Will Hussey. Rose, can you hear us over on the sideline? So fourth down, Tamworth, 4th and 4 on their own 33-yard line. No chance of going for this. They'll put that ball down the field. Lenkowski gets a nice kick, takes a Phoenix bounce and goes out of bounds at about the 25. First down, Thompson flicks it out to Lindley, and Lindley's got room and he turns the corner and he's up to midfield, out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
34 for the Phoenix making the tackle, Ollie Campbell coming across the field and just knocking Lindley out of bounds.
2nd and 5 Blitz inside Phoenix territory. And there's that another big runner. Mentioned his name a couple of minutes ago. Gabriel Quarty picking up a little bit of the load now.
Blitz really showing what they can do, shifting into gear. Just going through those ratios and
3 receivers again, no huddle offense. Quarty gets the call again and he carries a man with him for 7 yards. It's number 57 for Tamworth. Rafael Omozusi trying to make the tackle, but he's carried himself over the first down marker.
Yeah, absolutely monstrous run there. As you say, carrying a man with him.
And this hurry-up offense really causing Tamworth some issues now. And there's Quarty again, and he's hit, but manages to keep hold of the football. We've got this, definitely got a running back by committee with the Blitz. Tunga and Quarty. And Tunga's on the ball again. He's not actually, that's a great fake.
Yeah, it was, absolutely.
Sam Rogers with the reception inside the 5-yard line. And there's some worried Phoenix players down in front of us as the Tamworth defense are struggling to stop the power and variation now of this Blitz offense. Joe Thompson having a good 3rd quarter, hands off to Tunga, and Tunga looks to the right, looks back to the left. He's met by number 57, Omozusi again.
It was a really nice play by the Tamworth defensive line that time, just to make that penetration, and on that cutback, just wrap him up and take him to the ground.
Let's see if they can stiffen this close to the end zone. 2nd and goal from the Tamworth 7. And that looks like to be a false start, and there is a false start there, number 65 for the Blitz. I tell you what as well, there was so much energy in the Phoenix defense in the first half, swarming around the ball.
Yeah, you wonder whether they've burnt themselves out in the first. But, you know, this quick huddle style offense that the Blitz ran, certainly the start of this drive can really take its toll on a defense.
But then that's when you've got to try and use your depth. When you've got such a big squad, you've got to rotate players in, and difficult too when you're running against this high-speed offense.
Yeah, when they're running it like this, you don't really have time to do.
Thompson puts the ball down into the corner. There's a man there, and it's battered away.
Fantastic breakup. Looks like number
36.
36. That would be Anthony Norton.
Been very impressed with both secondaries. Great coverage again. Norton obviously playing DB there. Actually, he's in a safety role. Read the play very well, read Thompson's eyes very well, and got into a position to knock that ball away right at the goal line. So the Blitz going for a 37-yard field goal. It looks good enough, but it drifts wide left. So a successful defensive series, and the crowd go wild as if a touchdown's been scored. So 1st down, Tamworth on their own 26-yard line. Daly with 4 receivers. Burslem comes in motion and he turns the corner. Oof! And there's a flag there, and that'll be an extra 15 yards tagged onto that play.
He did well to run through that tackle. If it is a face mask call that we think it's likely to be, when your head's getting yanked back the other way, and that's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as well on the Blitz looking at it.
Discipline now is going to be a real factor. I can hear coaches down on the Phoenix sideline making sure that their players don't react to hits as late as that. 2 flags, 2 separate penalties. Looks like maybe one for the face mask and one for...
It's looking like unsportsmanlike on the sideline, and the officials are checking numbers.
So as the referees discuss, let's see what the outcome of those 2 penalties will be.
With 2 fouls on the play, live ball, personal foul, face mask, number 25, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down. Subsequently, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 25, defense, a further 15 yards. That is number 25's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Thank you, sir.
That's a Demiju called with that unsportsmanlike conduct.
30 yards. 30 yards in penalties just like that.
So Daly looks deep. He's got a man in the corner, and it's caught! And that's a touchdown for the Phoenix. Fantastic coverage once again by the Blitz defender. but 30 yards of penalties, and then a beautifully placed ball from Daly, and I think he's managed to hit number 81, James Hossack.
It was a fantastic grab under pressure as well from the corner.
Coverage was as tight as it could be with
Yeah,
that ball.
it was great. And you know, if you go back and look at the film, all right, you've given up the touchdown, but if you can go back and look at that as a cornerback, there isn't a lot you can do. You were in the right spot, but it was a beautifully executed throw, beautifully executed catch, and he got beat on a very good play.
In fact, actually looking at it, I think it was
it number 88?
89, I think it was. It was old Will Hussey. I think the way that people are celebrating there on the sideline, but nevertheless, like you say, the ball's in a perfect position. Extra point is up and good. The ball's in a perfect position. The receiver catches under pressure. There's not a great deal as a DB you can do. So here we go, 3rd and 7 for the Blitz. Can they find a way through to convert what would be a pivotal first down here in their quest to retake the lead at Brit Bowl 31 here? Brought to you by Double Coverage, Onside Productions, and EEP
And
Sports.
he's got him. That looks like Will Stone, number 94.
Everybody now on that Phoenix defense. We talked about them maybe being burnt out, but the energy has returned to that Phoenix sideline. 110 yards of penalties now against the Blitz. It's going to be 45 yards worth of penalties on Tamworth. 3rd and 8, big one here for Daly. Daly looks... Oh, that was a complete miscommunication in number 54 for the Blitz. Oh, forearm.
Was that a stiff arm?
That was a
or did he
forearm
punch him
to
in
the face.
Now that was actually a fumble. If we watch that replay, the ball comes out here, but that was awful. Complete miscommunication between 2 receivers and Daly.
Number 54, Eddie Cheadle with the interception. Great awareness from Cheadle. 1st and 15. Tunga gets that ball up the middle, and he's got room on tackle, and he's got inside the 20, and just enough for the first down.
26 for the Phoenix. Tom Tangerilla. He actually does really well to make that tackle on such a big man.
Great lead blocking for the Blitz by Ogun Kolati. Number 74 there, getting downfield.
Tunga, once he starts getting downfield, he's a fearsome opponent, really is.
First down. Number 86 makes the grab, makes an on tackle miss, and he's into the end zone for a Blitz touchdown. Alex Laird with the reception. And it swings back the other way. Great grab.
Yeah, it was a really interesting screenplay, whether the Tamworth Phoenix had just covered it up and Laird saw the space in behind it. Just over 2 minutes left of the 3rd. It's going to be an offside call, I think.
So the kick is through and good, and if it's a penalty against the defense, that will probably be declined, although I think the whistle blew that play dead, did it?
Offside. Number 44, the penalty has been declined.
There we go.
Result of the play is the extra point is good.
As Daly looks, oh, you could see that
what
coming
a hit.
mile off.
That was number 33 again with a monster hit. Tom Wilkinson coming in from that deep secondary position.
What pass is that known as?
Well, the hospital.
That is known as a hospital pass. Puts the ball across the middle, and it's a great pit. There's that rivalry once again. Wilkinson and Burslow, and this time Burslow wins it.
Yeah. Yeah, those 2 guys are getting sparked up.
I tell you what, either Daly isn't a fan of Burslem, because every ball he's put to him in the last few minutes is just teed him up to be hit.
Or Daly really likes Wilkinson and wants him to look good.
But Tamworth definitely holding their own as Daly drops back again. He looks down the field, he's got plenty of time, and then tucks the ball and runs again. He skips away from one man, skips around to the 10, and he's out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 6-yard line.
He's got to move, Santi. That's got to put him close to 150.
Here he is again, looks down the field, but sees that lane, takes off, eludes Conroy, eludes Van Oosten.
He'll run through contact. He's not afraid of contact, and I think that's nice to see as well.
Some Daly work his magic again. Looks right, comes back to his left. He's still looking, he's got time. Now the pressure comes. Oh.
Are they going to call that complete?
Well, no, I think he didn't hold on to the ball as he hit the ground, so that will be incomplete. And it looks like Lenkowski's coming out to attempt a field goal for the Phoenix. Tell you what though, look at this again. You see the way that Daly reads. He had the first read over to Patches, then he looked to the centre, saw nothing there, then started to take off to his left, and to be fair, gave Burslem a chance to catch that.
And he put that ball in the spot where only the receiver was going to make it. He didn't make it. It was a really tough catch to make, but the defense was never going to catch that ball either.
Daly with 130 yards rushing on the day so far from quarterback. It's the attempted field goal for the Phoenix. Lenkowski up and looks good from here. And indeed it is, which cuts the lead to 1 single digit. So Birmingham Lions alumni, that looked like a false start on the left end of the line there, but maybe things weren't setting up as the volume increases again from the Phoenix sideline. And
it is
picked off! Number 42 for Tamworth with an athletic grab, and that is Ben Davis jumping in front.
There is a flag on the play.
Let's wait before the Phoenix celebrate too much.
It's a really, really well-read interception. Almost baited the quarterback.
So athletic as well, stretched out. Let's wait and see.
He's a shorter guy as well. It was a really, really nice play for him.
I'll be honest, from where the officials are taking the football to right now, they're taking it to the 2-yard line as if it's going to be for the extra point. When you look at the official with the football. So it looks like this one will stand for Tamworth. What a finale we have. What an honour to be here in Worcester, in the sunshine, for this one. The air horn sounding, the kick is up, and the kick is good. And Tamworth extend their lead to 6 points with 8 minutes remaining. So Toonga again off to the left-hand side, cuts back, and another
big run.
Another first down for the Blitz, and they march into Phoenix territory. 28-34, the Tamworth advantage in the ball. There's a low snap and it's fumbled, and Toonga drops on it, but for a loss of 10, which will bring up 3rd and 11. Thompson drops back, he's under pressure. He gets the ball away and the ball's caught at number 34 with the catch. And that's Gabriel Quarty who catches and then slips as he makes his cut, and he's taken down.
4th and long though.
4th down and 11.
Looks like they're going to punt the ball away.
And Boswell and Burslem are back to return for the Phoenix.
You've got 5 minutes left. It looks like they're going to punt the ball away and try and force the Phoenix into some bad field position.
At Paul 1366, double coverage, best way to watch Brit Bowl 31. Come on, you Phoenix. Here's the punt, the noise is almost deafening. He takes his time with the kick, and now the ball goes up, waiting for his coverage team to get down there. Burslem goes for the fair catch and makes the fair catch. Makes the fair catch, no flags, and the Knicks will take over just inside their 20-yard line. So, can the Phoenix convert? Can the Blitz bring them up short? Daly hands off to Walters, and Walters spins out of a tackle and falls forward for a first down. Latest opponents as Adam Hope gets the ball, and he comes round the right end, and he breaks the tackle and stays on his feet, and that's important because he extended the play a little bit, and that clock should be continuing to run, but it's actually not started off that, and now it continues to run as Marcus Boswell looks to the sidelines, so does Daly, and realises that the play clock only started to run after the play had concluded. Bristol UWE Bullets, we're on the edge of our seats. What a game, fantastic for Brit Ball. Angus Cook as the ball goes out of bounds, and therefore not the best kick from Lenkowski.
14 seconds.
So here we go. We're going to see some fireworks now, I think, from the Blitz. No timeouts left. Angus Cook, absolutely gutted I can't be on the sideline with the Phoenix. They've been a pleasure playing with them this year. Essex Spartans, we're thoroughly enjoying Brit Bowl 31 here. Amazing stuff, well done all involved today. British Super Bowl indeed.
Look at that crowd, they are absolutely riled up.
So here we go. London Blitz.
It's pretty much a Hail Mary situation.
Thompson drops back, he's flushed out of the pocket, he rolls, he puts the ball to the sideline, and it's caught and out of bounds. Caught and out of bounds, so the clock will stop with 8 seconds remaining. 8 seconds remaining in Brit Bowl 31. That's a 30-yard pickup by the Blitz. You think one maybe quick sideline pass again, and then a heave to the end zone. Thompson again rolls to his right. Man coming, he's going to the end zone. He's got a man and it's knocked down. And the play clock reaches 0. And the Tamworth Phoenix.
No.
We're waiting to see the referee's signal. The Tamworth Phoenix hold aloft the 2017 Brit Bowl 31 National Championship and stun the London Blitz, stun the Brit Bowl world. The Phoenix travelling supporters go crazy. The Phoenix themselves have gone insane.
Kings of the North, kings of the nation, eh?
Absolutely. Wow. What a fantastic day for all involved at the Tamworth Phoenix. Hats off to the London Blitz to make the final 12 years in a row. You have to take your hats off to them, and to lose for the 5th year in a row now has got to be an absolutely horrendous pill to swallow. But what a quality outfit.
34-28, an absolutely magnificent that pick six. I mean, what a hero he must feel like.
Ben
what a great
Davis.
game.
So Tash, when you think of a final, when you think of the final game to round up a season, you couldn't get much better than that back in 2017.
You really can't. Like, that was my first actual experience of a Brit Bowl, being the sideline presenter for it. That was incredible. And I remember sitting there, and I remember having to kind of calm myself down before going live on air, because I was thinking, oh my God, what a final, what an ending, what a game. It was just incredible.
So it's one thing to actually sit and enjoy those highlights back, and with such a topsy-turvy game, momentum swings left, right and centre, from a spectator point of view, it'd be easy to sort of go, wow, brilliant. But really, to understand the game and to understand how this game is played, you really need to get in the minds of the coaches. And that's why, if you were with us earlier, apologies for the technical issues we had. BT Sport have similar. We thought we'd avoid that, but unfortunately not. But we are fortunate enough to have the head coach from that epic performance, Martin Hilton, our head coach at the time. We also have offensive coordinator Dan Smith, and a little bit later on we'll also be talking to defensive coordinator Jason Scott. Gents, first of all, just generally, how does it feel rewatching that 3 years later?
Pretty special, I must admit, Matt. I haven't watched it for a good year or two. I haven't watched it back. I was watching it back a little bit before the program just to get prepared, but it still brings back really good memories.
Yeah, same as Martin. Really, it's sorry. No, it's
sorry, Dan. Go for it.
Not watched it for a couple of years, and having a chance to think about it again and look through it. It's just, as you said, bring out some good memories.
So it'd be really great to get in your minds now about what you were feeling on the day, and hopefully, like you said, in your prep this week, you've had a chance to sort of think back and think about some of the decisions that you made, calling plays, and how you adapted. So if we start off really, Martin, if we go right back with you to the start of the game, I'm sure when you scripted or when you came out there, I'm sure the first offensive series wasn't meant to be the Pat Daly show. How did it turn into being a showcase for his unbelievable talent?
Well, Pat is a phenomenal athlete, and we're very lucky to have him, and he just makes things happen. I mean, if you look at the very first play, Pat's reacting to a blitz up from the Blitz linebacker at the time. It was Dan Conroy. He came straight up the middle of the gut, and Pat had no time to throw. So it was a reaction, and he felt the pressure, escaped beautifully, got out of the pocket, and created such a huge effort. But if you watch back the full drive, you see a heavy dose of the run game. We talked about it. You talked about it on the day of the game, but we featured some running backs quite heavily there. So Elliot Walters, Adam Hope, Deji Ali, they were all contributing as part of that drive. And it wasn't just the Pat Daly show, but it's hard not to be when he's making plays like this.
When he's making plays like this, just to go on as we watch on screen there, is it due to his protection breaking down and him having to make that decision? Or is it just his innate sort of reading of the game?
Dan, do you want to go for that?
Yeah, I think it's part of how we installed the offense with him as such a good runner. But he's always really good at being able to read those situations and take off and find the space when he needed to. On that play in particular, it's a bit of a miscommunication with pass protection. Obviously, somebody probably should have picked that guy up. But he sees the threat and straight away reacts and makes the best play he can, which is something he's very good at doing. So
you were right. You're quite right, Martin. Obviously, when we get a 30-minute highlight package there, we can manipulate what the game was. And like you said about Elliot Walters and Deji Ali and various people in that running game. And actually, Dan, if we think about that next play, the quick thinking again of Pat Daly to dump the ball off to Elliot. And again, talk us through that play. There was obviously a blitz player coming. Was it a designed or was it a check down that Pat had to make because of that pressure?
Yeah, so this play was actually a design screen, which is why we've got the two running backs leading out the backfield, and the linebackers to come through quite as quickly as they did on the play. But luckily, we had a good play called for the blitz and managed to pick up a first down. So
yeah, I think going back to Dan and Martin, Pat's run game especially, we saw on that second Pat Daly touchdown his incredible spin moves, almost running back like. I guess something that I want to know as a player, but I guess other players out there want to know, especially some starting up QBs, is probably how Pat is such an elusive player in the game from the QB position, how he can be such an elusive runner. And with that play in particular, did you actually feel that was the moment that you were potentially going to win the game? I mean, very early, but that was your day, maybe.
I think the play was significant, definitely. We felt like we matched up really well with them, and it was a sign that we were going to be playing well and that we could live in the game. In terms of Pat as an athlete and the way he escapes, I'm not gonna mince words. He is incredibly good genetics. You only have to look at the opposite sidelines to see Patrick, and they're both incredible players. They can move around so well. Pat's got a really good background as a basketball player, and in fact, when he came first year as a quarterback, so he was playing cornerback before for us, and then when I first took over as a head coach, he was playing basketball a lot for the University of Nottingham, and he said he wanted to be quarterback, and Dan's really worked with him to develop his game and come on with that. But I think you see that when he gets in and around in spaces, and also when there's people around him, you very much see his awareness of being in a crowd and his agility and able to move with low center of gravity. And I think that really goes back to his basketball background.
We've talked so far about the offense. Oh, sorry, Tash.
No, I was just going to do a bit of a follow-on. Dan, what was it like, kind of, because obviously being the offensive coordinator, you were having to really work with him and actually kind of push him to become that player. Do you think he became more coachable because of, as Martin just said, some of his background with other sports?
Yeah, I think so. I think he always has pushed himself, and he wants to be as good as he can be, and he has a great attitude towards that. He came in, he's obviously knew the sport already from playing defensive back and playing basketball as a point guard. It's sort of a similar sort of distribution sort of position and having to read defenses. So that sort of thing came in, and he had the ability to throw and stuff like that. And he just needed a game time to get ready to step up to that sort of level that he's at now.
So I was just about to bring Jason in. DC, obviously, we've talked so far about the offense and about the running back by committee and also Pat Daly, but it's evident from watching the highlights and actually being there on the day, Jason, it was a real swarming defense. I know you wouldn't have been happy with conceding as many points and it being such a high-scoring affair as it was, but it really struck me that watching the highlights back, whenever the ball carrier was anywhere, it wasn't one or two players, there were a swarm of black jerseys. What was the primary focus from your point of view as a DC to try and stifle this high-octane blitz offense?
whenever you're building a game plan, you want to take away what the opposition do best. We do a lot of work in looking at formations and their tendencies. The amount of hours and effort that the guys put in, a lot of people, this was their first introduction to the Tamworth Phoenix. And, even on the commentary, Matt, even you say, oh, I'm surprised at this, I'm surprised at this. People who were texting in, I'm surprised at this. We weren't surprised at all. We had a mantra throughout the season. It's, they don't know. People think they know what we're about, but honestly, they don't. And speaking to the team on the morning of the game, and I talked about seeing the invisible to achieve the impossible. All the hours that we put in practices, all the time we break down the tape. That's the invisible people don't see. We can achieve the impossible. Hard work that Dan, Martin, all the players put in to make sure that we are prepared as we can be on a game day. So, you look at the tape, you look at their formations and their tendencies, and and the rest is really the players and the desire and effort and heart they show to swarm to the ball. We've always had a swarming defense. That's always been our trademark, if you will. We want to make sure that we are making the offense earn it. The Blitz are a great team. They practice hard too, so it's no surprise that they've got a couple on us. We've got more on them now. And last time I checked, 34 is greater than 28. So
Absolutely. More to come from Jason, because again, it was, like I say, it was a real sort of back and forth affair all the way through, and to try and keep the defense, if you like, keep their heads up is obviously a challenge when conceding. And actually, really for you, Martin, going into the end of that half with 19 seconds to go, we saw the Blitz score. What does that do in terms of your message as a head coach going into the half, having been up in the game and then almost seeing the momentum swing into that half? Is it difficult for a head coach, therefore, to go in and remain positive with his players?
Not really. As Jason talked about a little bit, it's about they don't know and about the belief that we had within the team. That was a great catch by Kyle as a crossing route, and it was a real threat, and they drove really well the whole game, and they're going to take some of those opportunities. For me, it wasn't that much of a change for me as a coach, because when I got into the changing room, I looked around and I immediately saw that the players hadn't let the heads drop. They hadn't been disappointed by that sudden change of score. And really, it was about reinforcing what we said at the start about continuing to press, making sure we're playing for 4 quarters, and showing and it was reinforcing those beliefs in those players. It wasn't a case of having to pick them up at all. It was more a case of just carry on with what we're doing, keep playing. They're going to start with the ball and go from there. And I looked around and people were generally really positive. There was lots of little chats, and you can sort of see that when you're in the change room. You can get to feel the atmosphere, and you know which way you've got to call it in terms of a message. And I really didn't have to make much of a message to keep them on track.
So, okay, positive at half-time, conceded just before the half, positive at half-time. They come up, the Blitz have the ball again second half. They drive down the field. Obviously, the timeout's taken. At that point, was that your decision for the timeout, or was that Jason's given that point? That's the first part of the question to Martin. But then, Jason, if you can share with us what that message was in that timeout, and unfortunately, subsequently, the mood and how things felt a couple of plays later when actually the Blitz went in and scored. So, Martin, first of all, who called the timeout?
I'm pretty sure it was me, but I always am chatting with Dan and Jason on the sideline about what they feel, how they want it. So it wouldn't have been me just calling it without talking to Jason. It's very much a team discussion on the sideline. We're always back and forth. We don't have the radios, etc. On that day we did, but we were always talking. And so I think it was mine. It felt like they were on a drive that needed to get a little bit of stopping, but I'll let Jason go into how we moved on from there.
Go on then, Jason. What was your message? What was going on in that huddle?
Yeah, it was a 9-play drive, and like you said in commentary, they kind of came downhill and were running some no-huddle things. I would say that, under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training. Or we just talked about calming down. We have, again, a simple thing that we talk about on defense. We put the ball down. We forget about the play that's happened, and we get ready to focus on the task at hand. And I think that timeout was more about getting people settled down, remembering their fundamentals, and make sure that we're a really good team. They've made some plays, but it's our turn to make some plays now. And what you maybe you didn't know on this drive is we had a couple of guys who had to leave the game ill and injured. So we had to rotate some guys in who performed phenomenally. So it's a matter of managing some rotation, calming people down, and really focusing. You'll see me in the huddle here speaking to Andy Mortimer, who's being a bit ill. He goes out the game, and we have to rotate some guys in. So again, it's about reloading, putting the ball down, and making sure that we're ready to go, we're refreshed, and remember that we are a real good team. And the guys, that huddle, it's some great players there, some great men there. What you see there is Nelson Charles Nurufo. Now that's Nelson's first season playing football anyway. He started at Loughborough that winter, and now he is 9 months on playing in a national final. Steve Gregory, Ben Davis, Rafa Mazusi, all phenomenal characters. Dan Norgrove. I trust these guys. Ability is important, but attitude's more important. And the attitude of those guys is, I'll go to war with them. Those guys. So just reset, reload, put the ball down. Let's get ready to go again.
So you'll see shortly that obviously the Blitz do go in and they score in a couple of plays' time after that. And then moving forward onto the next drive, the Blitz, you can see that go-ahead score there for the Blitz. The Blitz almost then, they come downhill at you again and they get very close to scoring. So Martin, there was a run stop that we picked out basically before the false start penalty on this next Blitz drive. How big was that in keeping the Blitz? Because realistically, that could have been a 21-point swing if that drive hadn't have been halted from that really good defensive stop.
Yeah, but I think if you look at it you're only looking at it in the context of the drive at series. And if you go back to what Jason's just been saying about how the last drive was about calming him down, getting refocused. We'd had that time out. We'd had a little bit of time to talk to them. And then when they came off the field, again, Jason's following up, discussing about where people need to be, what position they need to be in. I think it was good in terms of getting the run stop was good in terms of stopping the momentum of their drive. But you saw plenty of tackles on there. In the last drive, again, there was lots and lots of people tackling. And we had to keep the belief. And I think the run stop added to the belief, but I don't think we needed the stop to happen to be getting carried away. I think the belief was already there.
So Dan, going to take you back to the Tamworth touchdown straight after the Blitz had just surrendered 30 yards worth of penalties. Unfortunately, we don't have the tech that like the BBC have and things like that, so we can't unfortunately get you to draw out the play exactly. But talk us through that pass play in particular. We'd seen the Phoenix especially have a very strong run game, and obviously with the Blitz just conceding penalties. What was the thinking behind calling that play specifically?
So through the game, we had struggled a little bit to get our passing game going. The Blitz had done a good job of shutting us down on that. As a result of those penalties, because they were both on the same defender for the Blitz, which is number 25, who had a really good game up to that point, covering our best sort of deep threat receiver, which is the guy who could catch the touchdown there. So he got taken out of the game by the Blitz sideline because I think they wanted to have a chat with him, ask him to calm down. So we decided to take a shot, and we just called a sort of standard sort of 4 verticals play, hoping that we could get our receiver isolated on a guy who's reasonably cold, just come into the game, and he actually does a pretty good job of covering it, but we managed to get just enough of a step on him, and it's a great ball by Patrick for us to score. So it worked out pretty well.
So Jason, Dan mentioned there about taking a shot on offense of that play when there'd been a rotation coming in. Was that a similar sort of idea on the Willstone sack? It was 3rd and 7, I believe it was, and obviously was it the defense taking a shot? What gave you the confidence on that 3rd and 7 to bring what apparently appeared to be a fair amount of pressure from Willstone?
Yeah, it was only 4-man rush. We moved the angle of attack. So typically when we're on our 3 front, we angle from the boundary to the field. Here we run what we call an angle away. So Will Stone actually goes inside the B gap. We send Ben Davis, number 42, off the edge. I think the tackle moves to pick up Ben, and Will's just untouched. And it's about playing that chess game. And you see Will just shoots that B gap. The tackle goes and finds Ben, and Joe's got a lot of trouble there. So playing that chess game, getting them to guess and second guess what we're doing. And that's, again, what we want to do on defense is to really make sure that the offensive line are thinking all the time about what we're trying to do. We want to run stunts. We want to run slants and angles and change our angle of attack, really, to make sure that we're asking questions. And the offensive line are never, ever settled in the game. The amount of stunts and coverages and different bits and pieces we do, we build everything modularly on defense to make sure that everyone understands what they require. And all that was, it was just cover 4, and we just ran the front the other way.
Fantastic. Just a reminder to you guys, if you're watching out there and you want to get involved, we've got the 3 coaches on. It'd be brilliant if you could drop a question either using YouTube or Facebook. Leave a question in the comments section there. Put a Q on the front so we know it's a question. Or if you're following along on Twitter, or you want to drop us a line on Twitter and put a question there, remember the hashtag is behind the play. So going from that then, and really, Tash, you wanted to mention about the interception and then that blitz TD, Tash.
Yeah, so as we all know, American football isn't just about the plays. It is about having that mental strength as well. So I guess, Martin, from your perspective, describe your emotions when that interception was thrown and then the blitz TD that came after that.
I think obviously there's a small amount of disappointment when you see the interception happen. That's only natural, but you have to have that mentality of moving on as coaches as well as players. So it's a case of, for me, I was thinking defense. I was thinking about making sure the DBs that were going on were the right ones. I know that Dan would then be picking out Pat. You've got to treat players honestly. You can't, the minute they make one mistake, lay into them really like crazy, because some players will take that really to heart, and you'll see a player suffer and they'll lose belief in themselves. So we've got to keep building the players up and making sure they're moving in the right way, so that when we go on the field again, we've still another quarter to go, we're going to be firing again. Completely
agree, yeah.
Love the way, Jason, that you talked us through that Will Stone sack and actually the play call and getting inside your head. Do the same for us on the absolutely critical pick 6 from Ben Davis. Okay, what was that play called? And tell us how your guys executed it and Ben found himself in that position to get the game clinching score.
Well, the genesis of that play was they're in the 3-by-1 formation, and their earlier touchdown, we run a hard corner press, and Leos, who was our corner that day, did a really good job at taking away the corner, but they managed to hit the seam behind. So we were discussing on the sideline different ways to play that cover 3, because we knew that they'll try and run those screens and those sort of concepts again. So that play was bomb smooth blood. Blood means that we're in man coverage to the trips. So Ben simply has got the number 3 receiver, the safety's got the number 2, the corner's got the number 1. And because of the way they're running their screenplay, we thought we might be able to get a jump, or certainly give them a separate look. The smooth is a Sam linebacker blitz, so you'll see Chris Thacker press the hole, and then Ben makes a great job. I've always said Ben's the smartest player in British football. He's my defensive coordinator at Nottingham, and he's just an awesome dude and a phenomenal player. And he read the play perfectly, and like I say, we're in a man coverage. He drove on the ball, and that's what we're designed to do. Is we want to generate takeaways. We want to make sure we've got a hand on the ball, and we want to be game changers. Our defense is anything but defensive, not passive. It's aggressive. We're going to come and get you. We're going to force you to make plays, and we're going to impose ourselves on the game. And that's a story between our swarming defense, the turnovers we generate, and the fun we have on the sideline, basically. We always want to believe that the hardest time we work is at practice, and every week we get to hang out with our mates and run around for a couple of hours and put game plan in. And really what you see here, again, talking about the see the invisible to achieve the impossible, that's the outcome. The process goals throughout the season is all the way back to camp, all the late nights we had, all the practices, all the games leading up to that have led us to this point. And we highlight one play or 5 plays that make a game. That's what hinges a game. You'll see it's punch and counter punch. There's 5 plays in any given game that will be decided. We want to make sure we are on the right side of history there. We're making the right plays at the right time, and Ben Davies is phenomenal at that.
I think as well, Martin, that was just a cherry on the cake, as it were, because this game had everything. It had rushing touchdowns, it had passing touchdowns, pick sixes, it had big defensive stops. Your special teams on both sides really made an impact. And Martin, going back into the very last drive, obviously you guys are try and be as professional as you can all the way through. And you already mentioned about the belief and making sure the players believe and keeping heads up. But surely when you're in that situation of pick six, we went crazy in the commentary booth. I think it was one of the best adverts for American football in this country that we've seen in recent years. But just talk us through your emotions on that final drive, particularly on this play where they gain a big chunk of yardage. That was the one prior, rather. But what are your emotions going down this last, and then when you actually realise that you've claimed that national title?
Sure. When it first started, we'd managed to get the offense had taken a lot of time out of the clock. With less than 2 minutes to go, and you had to trust the guys to know what they're doing. But at the same time, you still got to coach. You can't leave it. They're out there doing their job. You've got to do your job. So I was trying to watch the DBs as much as I can, trying to get them in position and make sure that they're in the right places. Try and coach from the sideline as best as I can. But last 2 minutes, you've got to trust them a little bit. And then it gets to the final whistle, and there's that celebration. You just see those guys, and you see the outpouring of emotion from everyone. You could see me, I think I jump on a player, and it's a pure joy just to have that moment, because I don't think although I believed for the whole game, it was only at that whistle that I allowed myself to enjoy it, sort of thing. I didn't think about it until that whistle went. So much so that it was almost disbelief a little bit. It was taking it in. Not disbelief is the wrong word, actually. It was sort of like the penny hadn't dropped until that last catch, or even well after. I think you interviewed me, and I was still trying to process it.
Yeah. And Dan, was it the same for you? Obviously, I think like Martin just alluded to, it probably didn't sink in for a couple of days. But what was your immediate outpouring of emotion, Dan, at the end of that game?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, it was. I don't know. Yeah, it was just sort of a bit of, as Martin said, not quite. You wouldn't say disbelief, but it's sort of, it hit you quite sort of like, can't believe this has actually happened, sort of thing. And it was just joy, I guess, in terms of it felt pretty good for a few days afterwards.
It was a fantastic event to be a part of, and it was like I said in commentary there, it was an honour to be there on that day and witness a great game by a great bunch of players led by a great trio of coaches. So congratulations once again to us, from us rather, to you guys on that epic performance. Since that time, there's been a bit of a change of the guard there. And Martin, I know you stepped away to focus more on your family. How's things there?
Very good, thank you. Got a son that's 1 year old, and he's keeping me busy all the time. I do miss football, but I'm sure everyone's missing football right now. But I knew I had someone very capable to pass on the reins to, who would take it further than me, that would push the Phoenix on to the next level. So I knew I was leaving it in safe hands.
And you said about missing football. Plans to get back at any time in the future?
I'm still involved in football at the university game. I'm head coach at Loughborough University. It takes a lot out of it, but I don't know what the future holds. I would never say never. I do miss the Phoenix guys like crazy. I've gone to so many of their games in the last couple of years. But it was just hard. I didn't feel like I was giving them a fair crack of the whip, trying to balance head coaching one team, holding a family down. And I felt like I needed to pass on the gauntlet to someone else.
Well, once again, from us at Onside Production and all the Britball community, thank you for giving us such a fantastic game and a great one to start this show with. So for now, we will bid farewell and thank you very much for spending time with us this afternoon. Head coach from Britball 31, Martin Hilton, and offensive coordinator, Dan Smith. Thank you very much, gents. But what we will do for now is we will keep the we will keep the current Phoenix head coach, because not only is he the current Phoenix head coach, but obviously he's the recent appointed Great Britain Lions head coach. And first of all, Jason, congratulations on that appointment.
Thank you very much. It's a challenge I'm very much relishing, and unfortunately, with the pandemic, we've not had a chance to do much, but I'm really excited about the future and how far we can take the national programme.
So what we're going to try and do over this next sort of 10 minutes or so is just try and get in the mind of Jason Scott, because it seems everywhere you look in Britball at the moment, Jason Scott's name's linked somewhere or other. And I suppose, as you alluded to there, we do find ourselves in unprecedented times right now. So from a University of Nottingham point of view, just in case people aren't aware, current University of Nottingham head coach, current Tamworth Phoenix head coach, now the current Great Britain Lions senior programme head coach. So you've got your hands full. What have you been trying to do over these last few months to keep the players in all of your programmes motivated without football and the uncertainty of when it might return?
I think it's important not to get burnt out. Again, talking about being busy, I'm also a new father. I've got a 6-month-old daughter next door, and the whole family are watching it on YouTube. So shout out to the four next door. I think it's important not to get burnt out. I've largely left the guys to do what they need to do. Obviously, the University of Nottingham guys, it's quite a stressful time for them with a university and everything that's going on with them. Tamworth, we've been having fortnightly classroom meetings, and with the Lions, we're piecing our staff together. We do have like online conversations, just waiting for the nod, really. I know IFAF met the other day. I'm still waiting to see what the final outcome was, but as soon as a judgment has been passed, I'm confident that we'll be ready to go. In terms of me, I'm just reading tape, reading books, watching tape, going through playbooks, going through schemes, and just kind of formulating. This opportunity isn't downtime. It's opportunity for me to really put things together and really critically analyse what I do as a coach and work through some concepts that I never really had the time to look into any deeper, because I go from season to season to season. This is actually a good time for me to really refocus and do some deep dives into some concepts that I'd been interested in but not time to do.
I can't imagine, Jason, that you're going to have a lot of downtime, having the fact that, like you say, you've got 3 programmes to look after now. First of all, we already said congratulations on the appointment from GB. Why is Jason Scott the man to lead the GB Lions to the next level?
Why not?
Now, I gave you that question earlier in the week. And I expected a nice open answer from you, because I know you do. You are very good at communicating, which is obviously one of the reasons that you will have been given the post. So I need a little bit more than why not, my friend.
I'm messing with you.
I know you are.
Look, I love football. I got into this game. I got into coaching because I wanted to give back. I had a great time at University of Loughborough. Playing there, coaching there, and because of the experience I had, thanks to the coaches I've had, it allows me to go, well, you know what, I've had a great time, I want to give back to the game, and I've really got to kind of give a tip of the hat to Andy Sweeney, who was my first head coach, and Paul Sherritt was my first positional coach. They really gave me a good foundation in how to play football in British football. And they inspired me to want to coach and want to give back. I had 6 great years coaching at University of Loughborough before I moved away to the States, and I had 4 great years at Endicott College, working under Bobby Holmes, who was a huge inspiration for me. And that defence, the Tamworth defence, that was based on what I learned a lot of in the States. Worked with Jeff Collins at Mississippi State, and then came back to Tamworth. I just think I've got so much passion that I want to give, and that's possibly why I do so much with the university game, the senior game. I dip into youth and junior football. I'm a coach. I want to coach. I want people to get better. I want them to realise their potential. I think that's behind what I want to do with the GB programme. I want the athletes and the programme and BAF as a whole to realise its potential. I want us to go and shock Europe. People have said that they weren't expecting Tamworth to beat the Blitz. They weren't expecting us to beat the Warriors in the semi-final. We have built a reputation of doing more with less. And I think the challenge that we have with GB is very much similar. We've got limited resources. We're not a professional league. It's a perfect opportunity to do more with less. And like I said in the interview, I want to look at character. I want to look at integrity. I want to look at attitude. Ability is important, absolutely. But if you get the right people, they become better players. And that, I think, that philosophy of what we do at Tamworth, I want to a national and international stage, and show what we can do. We've got phenomenal athletes in this country. I mean, watching the game, Glenn Toonga, did really well at CFL Combine, and he's going to be making waves. You look at the guys in Europe who are doing great things. Every time we watch a Brit Bowl, it's a great advert for British football. The Warriors are a powerhouse. We've had the fortune to play them the last 2 years, and I say that with inverted commas. They are a powerhouse, but you want to get better. And seeing the talent on display at the university level, at senior league level, and seeing all the juniors and youth guys coming through, it's important that they get the opportunity to really show themselves on a national scale, international scale. So that's why me, I think.
Great philosophy and great way of looking at how to hopefully move forward the future of GB especially. We've had a question come in on the socials, so one on Facebook from Michael Foxall Smith. So the question to you, Jason, is do you design your playbook by scheme or by personnel? He says, it's easier in Brit Ball to create a playbook that's similar year in, year out, so that it's easy for players to pick up as it looks similar to recent years. However, with the variance in skill in players, it would be most advantageous to plan your playbook around the best players, surely. When you have a running back like Elliot at Tamworth, how much of your scheme is around him and how much is around just the scheme itself?
My mantra, my philosophy as a coach is you need to put people in a position to succeed. Defensively, offensively, and on special teams, we have a multitude of weapons. I can't really speak for Dan and what he builds, but from what I do know of how Dan builds a playbook and builds a scheme, you look at the last year's Brit Bowl, how we wanted to attack the Warriors was slightly different from how we've run the whole season. So you do want to, again, look at the opponents, look at what you've got, and put your players in a position to succeed. Defensively, I'm blessed that we have such a continuity of players that as long as I've been with the Phoenix, the likes of Steve Gregory, Andy Mortimer, Ben Davis, Ollie Campbell, Rafa Mazusi, they've always been with me, and they help really install what we need to do. Every year we get different abilities, so I might go, my scheme might be a 3, or if we get corners who can run, then we might play more man coverage. If we've got guys who are thicker, who like to bang, then we might play a bit of zone. I think it changes game to game, and when I'm building a playbook, it is absolutely important to look at who you have. But don't try and confuse yourself. I think to the person who's asking the question, build a playbook in which you can believe in. Coaching is a salesman's job as much as anything else. You need to believe in what you're coaching. Don't try and out-scheme yourself. Believe in what you're going to do. If you're a defensive coordinator and you believe in blitzing and then you want to back off, well, that's not who you are. So stick with blitzes and learn about things like zone concepts and man concepts. I run a lot of fire zone, and that's something that we built in and something I believe in. So I think it's a combination of both. It's look at the athletes you've got, put them in a position to succeed. Don't sell yourself out and try and do too much. I think that's the whole team ethos, is that everyone comes together and you win together, you lose together.
So you mentioned, Jason, already about the fact that we've got some fantastically talented players all over the country. There was a recent podcast that was put out to giving the opinion that maybe the current GB team isn't necessarily the best GB team that we could have, and that was for a number of issues, whether it be to cost of attending trials or travel or whatever else like that, and certain players might not be putting themselves forward, and therefore, with all due respect to everybody who pulls on that Lions helmet, there might be better players out there. What are your plans from that GB head coach point of view, and working obviously with Michael Callan, the new director, to actually get those best players in Great Britain, pulling on a Lions jersey and eliminating the factors that maybe of late have not allowed everyone to do that?
Yeah, look, yeah, I fully appreciate that, and sometimes that, throughout my time in British football, whether it's the GB students team or the national programme, some of the better players haven't gone because either they can't afford it, or they have finals, or they have a wedding, or this, that, and the other. Unfortunately, the state of our game is that it's an amateur game, and people play it because they love it. Now, we want to flatten the playing field, level playing field as much as possible, and make sure that those who want to try out, those who want to participate, have the opportunity to do so. That's obviously a decision for BAFA and the bigger picture. And with everything that's gone on, BAFA don't have a lot of money at the moment because of the refunds. In the same sense, I think I want people who want to play. There is going to be a degree of sacrifice you have to make to be elite. And I think the thing I had with that podcast and the concept, the best players don't make the GB team. Well, a team isn't just players; it's people working together for a shared goal. And it goes back to what I want in attitude and character and integrity. I want the best people in the team, if not the best players, because the best people come together and make a great team. Obviously, I'd like the best athletes, but they need to buy in as well. Physically, financially, as well as emotionally and intellectually. We want to make sure that the playing field's leveled as much as possible, but that's not always going to be possible because we don't have the money. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other situation, really. And I'll be working with BAFA to make sure that we do get the best opportunity for the most people to come and try out, and then we'll make a decision on whether they are the best players or whether they fit in our team.
Over the last few years that I've been doing this, and I switched from sort of the coaching role into this side of football, it's been a real pleasure and genuinely an honour to get to know you a little bit better as well. And your passion and that vision has always come across as being really genuine. So the final real big question for you is, what would you like your legacy to look like when people reflect on the Jason Scott era of being the Great Britain head coach?
I want to affect people's lives. I want to make sure that people are put in the position to succeed. I want people to enjoy their time with the GB Lions. Now, I know I have a lot more fun winning games, so I want to make sure that we are winning games. And the question was put to me that, is the GB team now going to be filled of Nottingham and Tamworth athletes? Well, if they're the best people for the job, yes, but it would be counterproductive for me to put people in the team who aren't good enough. So I want people to enjoy it. I want the legacy to be a team that plays hard, that plays with a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun, that fly around the field, that take risks, that are exciting. I was talking to Dan the other day about last year's Britball, about the onside kicks, about how aggressive we were. And that's what we want to do on an international level. We want to be aggressive. We want to take it to Austria. We want to take it to the Scandinavian countries. We want to take it to the French, take it to the Italians, and really show the talent that we have and the intelligence that we have. So I just want a team that puts it all on the line. And I think if we put it all together, we are going to win a lot of games. We just need an opportunity to do so, and I'm really excited about that opportunity.
And finally, then, you've seen this question already, and I already know the answer to this question from your perspective, I think, but you might surprise me. Being a defensive coordinator, do we expect from the Great Britain Lions, but also from Tamworth and from the University of Nottingham, would you prefer to eke out a 3-0 win and obviously maybe not make it a most spectacular game from a spectator point of view, or would you be happy to come out on top of a 48-45 shootout?
I think my answer might surprise you. I want people to be excited by football. I want people to come and watch the GB Lions. I want people to be entertained. And knowing that the offensive coaches that I'll be wanting to get involved in GB, I'm sure we're always going to score points. So you know what? I don't mind leaking 48 points if we score 49. as long as some of those points are defensive scores, pick sixes and the like. I want like going back to the previous question. I want our legacy as a national program to be that of exciting football. I want people to come and watch us. I want people to come down to see the GB Lions and get excited about British football. And that's so important that we've got so many people who are down on British football, whether it's on social media or what have you. We have got great teams, great coaches, great administrators, phenomenal players. Yes, we're an amateur sport, but why amateur with a capital P? Sure, but let's be professional as much as possible in how we approach things and how we do things. And I want people to be excited by British football. I want them to be, work closely with Baffer and Coach Callanan, making sure that, the GB programme is the pinnacle of the game, and people want to play for the national programme, and people want to come and watch the national programme.
Well, I for one well, I, for one, am really excited about what the future might hold for the Great Britain programme, particularly as I've been lucky enough to watch some of the University of Nottingham games and the Tamworth Phoenix games over the last couple of years. Thank you, Jason, for spending the time you have with us this afternoon, obviously away from your family as well. It's been a real pleasure to not only have your insight and your passion and vision for the future of the game in the Great Britain, but also to have Martin Hilton and Dan Smith on board with us as well. So thank you, Jason, and we will obviously see you in the not too distant future, hopefully on a football field somewhere.
Yeah, just quickly, I just really want to thank you guys. All the stuff that Onside do for the British game. It showcases what we are capable of, and I've got friends tuning into this from across Europe and the US, showcasing what we're doing, and the coaches and the players that we have, are able to put themselves in people's living rooms thanks to the hard work that you guys do. So thank you very much, and keep doing what you're doing. It's awesome.
Thanks
we
so
really
much for
appreciate
that.
those words. Thank you, Jason. We really appreciate those words. And hopefully this being our first one, our performances will only get better as well as we go forward. So thanks for now, and enjoy the rest of the sunshine, and we'll see you soon, Jason. So Tash, I think from a first show, I think that's gone pretty well. I really enjoyed watching that game back, and actually to listen to the play calls and the passion. And there's an element whereby those coaches are going to be politicians, and they're not going to let too much out of the bag, as it were. But it's been really fantastic to hear what they were thinking at various points during that fantastic Brit Bowl that we saw a few years back.
Definitely. I think actually hearing the thought process behind some of the plays, obviously, as you said, coaches aren't going to give up their whole their whole plans and their whole schemes because of the fact that they might still be using some of them. So they're obviously not going to talk fully into that. However, finding out about the basics and actually giving the rest of the Britball community, and as Jason just said there, apparently some of Europe and the USA, a look into the British game and actually a bit more insight into what happens, it's great.
So that just about does it for us from this first show of Behind the Play. Just a little bit of time. We at Unside Productions have run a fantasy football league just with the crew, the presenters, the crew over the last couple of years, and there may well be, it's been spoken about by one of our directors, an opportunity that we might open that up to the general public this year. So hopefully more of that to come in future shows. But for now, thank you ever so much, Tash, for joining us this afternoon and making this what I think has been a really fantastic advert for British football, and hopefully just bringing a little bit of the game into people's homes while we are without it. So thank you so much for your time, Tash.
Thank you. One final thing from me. Don't forget, for any of your official updates from BAFA about the future of Contact, Flag and any other leagues that are happening, look on the British American Football Association's official Facebook, Twitters or any other social media pages. They will have all the updates there.
Thank you, Tash. Absolutely. And we hope that that isn't too far away in the future, but who knows with how things are going. So once again, thank you for joining us on this first show of Behind the Play. We look forward to seeing you again in the near future when we bring you another game from the recent archives. Remember to join us as you can when we will dive into another fantastic game from the recent history of Brit Bowl in Behind the Play. Goodbye for now.